Weathercock House, famous stables these, they've been the home of Gold Cup and Grand National heroes. But now, this is the yard where Richard Hughes can't stop sending winners out of. Richard, we come to see you because the stable is absolutely flying, trading as we speak right now at over 30% winners to runners in 2024. But I'm fascinated to know whether training has been harder than you anticipated it would be when you gave up riding.
Oh, without a doubt, Matty. When I started, I was at the top of my game, Champion Jockey, and I thought if I go by 20 yearlings, I'm bound to find a good one. And it didn't happen. But what we have done in the last 8 years is survive. We've over 50, 60 winners every year without a champion there. So I feel that we've a good stable base, really good owners that are supporting me and keep coming back. And I think that's going to stand me in good stead.
When you look through big winners, you've got a Northumberland plate, you've got a listed winner in there. But as a man who rode multiple Group 1s, how do you go from that being involved in big races all the time to just trying to win a race?
I remember the early days going to Ascot was really hard because you'd be walking around with maybe one runner, two runners in the whole week. I'm not a brilliant socializer, if you know what I mean, so I found that very hard. But I used to go racing Ascot every day with 5 good rides, and if you come out with 3 or 4 winners at the end of the week, you've done really well. So not being competitive in places like Ascot and Goodwood was really hard. But Rome wasn't built in a day. It took me a long time to be champion jockey. So I think anything that's handed to you easier, you get there easier, you're better off working your way up the ladder. The
name Desi is mentioned numerous times, partly because your son's called Desi, but also, of course, your great old man was Desi Hughes. Did he not warn you that training might be tricky?
Well, they always knew I was going to go training, and even when Dad died, Dad always knew that I wouldn't go home, and Sandra took over the licence. I loved riding in England, and he knew I'd never go home. I'd always stay here and go training. And he did give me a word of advice: don't leave it too late to go training. So I cut my career short, probably 10 years. But I'm glad I did, because it's a tough game, and I have no choice but to survive now and keep going. So the better years are ahead, hopefully, and we've survived up to now, so better days ahead.
So when you look at your string now, as we are out the car, are you happy? Everything moves as it should? Yeah.
We've no lame ones, they all seem to be moving well. Might have to change 1 or 2 riders.
As in, if a horse pulls very hard with a slightly less experienced rider or something like that?
Yeah, or even they just don't quite get on with them. I don't get on with everyone. If I feel that they're not quite getting on together, we'll switch riders. And it's amazing how you see a horse, when a rider starts gelling with a certain individual horse, it's amazing how much better they get. But we're lucky, we have Finlay and George, 2 fully fledged jockeys now, and they come in most days. And they're part of the team, and they're part of the yard, and if someone else rides them from that's not in the yard, they accept it. They know they can see the bigger picture.
I'm interested in the jockeys though, because you were, one of the best we've had. What makes you pick George Rook and Finlay Marsh to ride your horses?
Well, the fact that they put so much work into my operation is massive. And anyone who wants to help me, I'll help them. That's the way I look at it. There's very few Ryan Moores in this world, or William Buicks, Oisin Murphys. Like, they do have an edge every time they go out. I know I did when I was riding. But when you're training 70 horses, you can't get them boys. But what I do want is someone that's loyal, works hard, knows his horses, and knows how much a winner means to our operation. And I think that's very important. I've had Finlay and George since they were kids, come into the yard. So I've moulded them the way I want them to ride horses. And how they should conduct themselves in around people. And of course they'll all make mistakes, we all do when we're young, but the foundation is there for them to go the right path, I think. Happy?
Yeah, very happy.
All right.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Okay.
Nice and fresh. Yeah.
Good.
The first thing your Mrs. Lizzie said was that Richard's a different bloke, different man this time around. Your attitude is different. What do you think she meant by that?
Other years I'd be a little bit negative. Not negative, but I'm a realist and I ride most of the horses that are in the yard, so I know what a good horse is. And over the years we've had a lot of nice horses, but I just know they're not real top horses. So she said, oh, that one might be good, and I knew deep down that they're not champions. But this year I've been sticking my chest out about this is the first time ever we've 4 or 5 group horses in the yard, because I know they're group horses, so it's a little bit different. Maybe I'm a bit more positive, but only because I know what I have. You wrap them up in cotton wool a little bit because
they're only good in some ways until you run them.
Exactly. That's why it was so important for Brackenslaff to win in Chelmsford.
Yeah.
He's one of our best ones, but we do have a few that I believe are not far behind him, are definitely showing me signs that they could be very nice horses. If he got beaten, finished a bad 4th, that basically means the rest of them aren't as good as I thought they were. So to see him go win and win the way he did, I'm pretty confident that we've got some good ones in behind him as well.
So how good is this boy?
I've had 2 runners in Group 1s, and I threw him in last year in a Group 1. I genuinely thought he'd win. I went away there, he was only beat 4 lengths, but I went away gutted. And I came home and I didn't feel he quite stayed, so I was keen to bring him back to a mile, his first run of the season. And he done it well.
So we go to Chester next.
Go to Chester now. I want to go baby steps with this horse. He's not ready to be thrown into a guineas and getting chinned. He's 16-2, I'd say, and he's just not ready for that at this stage of his career. I done it in France to him, but I had the whole winter to get over it. So I got away with it there, and I won't do it to him again. We'll go to Chester, and if he wins at Chester, he can go for a Group 3 then at Royal Ascot.
Over what trip?
1 and 2, Hampton Court. But if you look at that race in Chelmsford, he'd have won over 7. This is not a slow horse. And when he was last April at the Breeze Ups, he done the 2nd fastest time. And he was 2 foot bigger than any other horse at the sale. But yeah.
Potentially the best you've trained?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, he's a very good horse. He is a very good horse. Finley's got on really well with him now. It took a while to get him to relax into our system after the Breeze Ups. And he rode him every day, I think, since he came into the place nearly.
And if Finley's got the knack to him...
He has got the knack to him.
So that could be important for keeping the ride at Chester?
Yeah. Finley's done nothing wrong on him, and he rode him in Newbury, and he knew how much pressure he was under that day, and he won on him, and he won the other day in him, so I don't see any reason why I'd change jockeys.
Which is big.
Big for Finley, but I believe in Finley. He's a good jockey. End of story. He's the greatest hands I've ever seen. Because I've ridden horses here at home that pull and they'd be horrible, and Finley's able to go up the gallop and loop in his rein.
Hold on, the greatest hands you've ever seen?
Yeah, he's a fabulous pair of hands, Finley. Yeah.
Wow.
Because
that's some statement.
I've ridden horses here at home that are horrible, pull hard, and Finley gets on them and he can go up with a loop in his rein.
Sorry, I've got to just check this. Greater hands than Richard Hughes?
Well, I won't go that far back.
Taking some shots at you, you're most stylish, Finn.
Mm-hmm.
Taking some shots at you looking stylish here.
He's not afraid to ride yearlings.
Extraordinary comment from Hughesy earlier. He said you've got the best pair of hands he's ever seen. These hands, are they something special?
No, he must have been lying. I don't know, I've been here so long now, it's been eight years, and I hopefully come in with no bad habits because I could barely ride a horse. The first time I sat on a yearling was here out the back, and I hope if you've got no bad habits and you're getting taught by someone like Richard Hughes, hopefully you don't pick any bad habits up.
And Finley, early on this season, you rode Queen of Zafine. You didn't keep that ride in the listed race because Jabber was keen to use the best available, which everyone understands. But now you've got Brackenslaff, and it appears, barring some major catastrophe, this could be your big opportunity come Chester.
Yeah, look, that situation was very understandable, and but if you can just, when you get the opportunities, try and get the job done, and have done on Bracken. So look, we're all aimed for Chester, and people are now seeing how good we always thought he was. So we go to Chester and just try and keep my head down and focus on riding winners.
George, not everyone can have Finley's hands, but what you bring to the table is a lot of dedication, and again Richard was saying that, you know, you get horses settled and into the right position.
No, we say we say in the yard that Finley's got iron fists. They sort of go down and don't come back up. But no, I'm not the strongest, so I've had to find my own sort of techniques, which works to an extent. But no, I'd like to say I've watched Finley, I've watched Richard, so we've got good people around us.
All right, George. Last May, I think I went 6 weeks without a winner. I might have had one. Things were tough. The horses weren't running well. Don't know why. I don't know why they're running so well now. But that's a herd of animals for you. You'll have a good patch, but the flip side is you're going to have a bad patch. And one of my best pals, Martin Clark, came down at 6:30 right into the yard. And he said, just pick your chin up. You're doing the right things. He said, it will turn, Richard. Don't be worrying. And to have friends like that and owners is something really special.
I mean, the reason we're here is because you're flying. You know that. We wouldn't be here if you weren't flying. But you know there's going to come a point when this strike rate is going to dip. I mean, let's hope it doesn't.
Of course it will.
How do you cope with that?
Well, at least I've had a good start. So I'm going to get away with 3 weeks without people starting to say I haven't had a runner in so many, or you haven't had a winner in so long. But you just have to have a good hard neck and ride the storm when it happens. And the one thing I've done from day one, I've never changed anything. And I've learned that from Richard Hannon. Keep doing the same thing and it will turn.
So Rich, this is Kambu, owned by Abdallah Al Manzouri. You'll be pleased to have a good one for that owner.
Yeah, Abdullah's been very kind to me. He's a good supporter. He's had horses here now for 3 or 4 years. I think he's about 4 or 5 in training with me. And when you're getting support off people like that, you really want to deliver for them. So this horse was I bought him in Goffs last year for 90 grand. And I sent him a text message, would you have any interest in this horse? And he just said, I'll have him. He's a real 1.5 mile horse. Doesn't want it too firm, doesn't want it too soft. He's in the Dante and the Derby. We don't know if he's a Derby horse yet. But we'll give him every chance.
Star Music, Hughesy is classic entered. How good might she be?
We'll see. She has to improve a little bit on last year's performance in the Oh So Sharp. She's beat 3 lengths. She ran really good first time out, and then we went to Newbury thinking she'd win. And a very funny race that day. Just something was amiss. And then we went to Kempton and she won 5 or 6 lengths, which is what I'd been seeing at home. And she ran a blinder in the Oh So Sharp. She was third, beating about 3 lengths. Probably not strong enough just to finish her race off that day. But she traded odds on and running. I'm leaning more towards France. I'm not convinced a hard mile would suit her. She's not a slow filly. I'd rather an easier mile, and I think I'll get it in Longchamp easier. I rang Jabber about this filly that says that she's the nicest filly here at the Somerville sale. I think we should really have a good go at buying her. And he let me go ahead and buy her for 160 grand, but she's well worth it.
She looks like she's got a lovely temperament.
Oh, she's an angel. Aren't you? That's Queen as a Fiend. The third one with the pink saddle. Really slow learner last June, July. She wasn't beating too many on the gallops, that's for sure. So we gave her the time and she came good in the winter time. And I was shocked when I seen in Linkfield the way she quickened up with a penalty on her back. We hadn't seen anything like that at home. So she obviously does more on the track than she does here. And then she was narrowly defeated in the listed race. I thought she ran a good race. It's probably the first race she was really competitive in. And maybe lacked a little bit of grind at the finish and she just got beat. She'd love a bit of sunshine, this filly. She's still got her whiskers. And I'd love it, just 10 days warm weather and they'll come out and then she'll be ready.
So Palace Green absolutely bolted up the other day. I mean, it was quite almost extraordinary at Kempton. How good might he be? He's a gelding already, so what do you do with him?
Yeah, he's a nice horse, this Matty. Funny enough, I bought him on spec for 120 grand. And last Christmas, or the year before, I couldn't sell him for the life of me. I put him to everyone, I couldn't sell him. So one of my best pals in America, Adrian Regan, I said, Adrian, I need a bit of help. I've got a really nice horse here and I can't sell him. So he took half him with a few pals. And then he kindly asked Sheikh Fahad to come in with him. And Sheikh Fahad took the other half. We ran him in the Haynes, Hansel and Clark and he got loose when Bracken's Laugh won. The jockey fell off coming out of the stalls. And then he went to Bath and ran a blinder. Oisin felt he went a little bit soon on him. Not Oisin's fault, just one of those things on soft ground. And Dallas Star beat him a half length, who won the Ballysack. We went to Kempton this year and thought he'd mile and a quarter might be a bit on the sharp side for him, but God, he was impressive now. But he's a horse that won't take too many races too quick. So I'll bide my time with him before I run him again. But he's a horse that'll probably end up at Royal Ascot in one of those handicaps going a mile and a half. Okay. Yeah, I'm just afraid to canter him. We'll just keep trotting here and mosey on home when you're ready, Dan.
When you were riding, you had an edge, you were better than most. What do you feel it was that you had that made you better than most? Just natural talent or something specific?
There's no doubt I got better the older I got. I got a bit wiser. I understood the game more, the bigger picture, if you know what I mean. All very well jumping off and saying it's no good. When you're young and you're a bit naive, you don't realise that the owner's paying £2 grand a month for that horse. And he loves that horse. I loved it, Matty, and I didn't want to do anything else. When I was going for a gap, I was either going to fall or win. I didn't want to go around the outside and be third. So, and if you have, listen, you have to be a bit mad for this game, but I had no fear in me whatsoever.
When you first set out in the UK, the jockeys you enjoyed beating early on were who?
Oh, there was some wonderful jockeys when I was riding. There was Ray Cochran was hard to beat. God, he was a brilliant jockey.
Slightly unsung.
Oh, he was
talent.
brilliant. It was hard too. I remember I nailed him one day in a race and I knew there was going to be trouble ahead. I remember just pointing his finger at me. You watch your back, sunshine, he said to me. But good fair riders, tough but fair. John Reid rarely made a mistake. Mick Cannan, brilliant. Johnny Murtagh, brilliant. Fallon, brilliant. Jimmy Fortune, brilliant. There was 10 guys, one as good as each other.
So Rich, this is young Desi.
Yeah.
Now your old man will have given you plenty of advice over the years. So let's say we're giving Desi a riding lesson on style. What do we want to see here?
Yeah, now the first thing I've noticed already, Desi, what about her fingers? Oh, yeah. I believe that you'd have all your fingers over the reins.
Okay.
And you're taught in pony clubs that you should be like that. I disagree with it.
Okay.
I think you should have your whole hands on the reins. Tone the iron, heels down, yeah. You've heard that before, haven't you? Just stand up. Right, now get down like a jockey, down nice and low. Hands up high. Hands up high. Hands up and elbows down. Heels down. And look between his ears. That's all you ever need to know about riding horses.
Yeah.
Elbows down, heels down, look between their ears. It's the first thing you're taught when you're young is look between their ears. And it's the first thing people forget.
And young Desi here, in 10 years' time, will he have a license? Will he be riding?
Fingers. Oh. He might.
He's the right size, isn't he?
He's the right size, he's wiry.
Oh, my boy. Ah!
Go on. That's it.
Never to be seen again.
Yeah.
That must make you feel quite good inside when
That's
you see
great,
him.
yeah. You're hard sideways now and again, but look in front of you.
Well done, Des.
Oh, no. Pull him up, pull him up. Enjoy that. Right.
It's interesting you talk about leaving a dynasty, something for your kids. Two different kids, it looks like at the moment.
Yeah,
One studying hard.
Harvey is doing a studying at the moment. Loves his racing. Doesn't want to be a jockey or anything like that, but really interested in it. Phoebe's a very good rider, and she loves the horses too. So it's just lovely to enjoy it with them. And Lizzie from day one now warned me, because you can get so wrapped up in this, because you're living with your horses every day, that it's very important that it takes some time out with the kids. Golf is the other thing. I need to play golf some days just to get away from it, or you would go insane. But
What do you play off?
5. But
When you're not scamming?
Vincent O'Brien was a good golfer, so don't feel guilty about that. But I need to switch off from this, because it's 24/7, and Lizzie's always told me the importance of having days off with your kids is so important.
Of course, back in the days riding, you rode lots of good horses, but I imagine if you were showing the kids one horse, it might be Camphor Cliffs, who brilliant in the Coventry and pretty useful in the St James's Palace Stakes as well. When you look back on him, happy memories.
Oh yeah, he was a special horse, and I just see the kids in telly watching YouTube on the TV now, and they go back and watch my interviews and some of the races I won. Very proud. I was very lucky. I rode for a great stable, Richard Hughes. I rode for Juddmonte. A charmed career now, and I enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm enjoying this now even more.
I guess if you're not playing right at the top level straight away, it'd be easy just to call it quits after a few seasons, say, okay, well, that didn't quite go as I wanted. It never felt like you were ever going to do that.
No, I love my job. I love it. It is stressful. It's a bit like a footballer turning into a manager, but I love being around horses. I love watching them run. I love being with them. The best time for me is at 9 o'clock at night when I walk down the barn to see which one is eating up and that. And I just really enjoy being around them. I'm not educated enough to do anything else. I'm in the deep end now, and I'd like to leave something behind me for my kids, but it's full steam ahead, and I don't have a choice to give up.